continue to see the fury of fire today. A massive blaze continues to rage out of control near Yosemite. The rim fire has more than tripled in size since yesterday. This afternoon, Governor Brown has declared a state of emergency in Tuolumne County. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tony Lopez.
And I'm Shannon Brenius. Here's the latest information on the rim fire. Since breaking out Saturday, the flames have scorched more than 53,000 acres. That's more than 84 square miles. The fire is only 2% contained, and that's down from the estimate of 5% containment yesterday. The wildfire has destroyed 2 homes so far and 7 outbuildings. Evacuations remain in effect. 2,500 homes, hotels, and camp buildings are being threatened.
Here's more for you now. The fire caused the closure of a 4-mile stretch of Highway 120, one main path into Yosemite on the west side. Let's take a closer look at where this fire is burning. This is northeast of Groveland in the Stanislaus National Forest in Tuolumne County. Andrea Minetti is live for us on the scene with the very latest. Andrea?
I want to give you an idea of just how large this fire is. I can count 3 massive plumes of smoke in the skyline right here. There's one right here, another one to the right of us, and there's even trees that have burned where we are. And this thing is just massive because, you know, these other plumes are very far from where we're standing right now. I want to go ahead and show you some video of what we watched flare up a short while ago. In a matter of minutes, hot spots from an area that burned last night grew into what firefighters called a firestorm. Fire crews say flames shot 70 feet in the air, then crossed to the other side of Highway 120.
There's so much heat down there right now. With the erratic winds, all that heat, all those embers swirling around, everything is very volatile and go up very easily.
The incident is a great example of what firefighters are up against. We do know that the fire has been upgraded to the top of the totem pole, so to speak, meaning more resources are here. A U.S. Forest Service spokesman told me that the fire camp, where all of the crews from around the nation are gathering, they're saying that that fire camp has tripled in size, just to give you an idea of how many people, how many boots on the ground are here trying to fight this massive fire. Coming up at 5 o'clock, I'll have more on the evacuations and still that just sense of insecurity for the folks who live in this area.
Yeah, no doubt. Andrew, you mentioned boots on the ground, but I imagine they're still fighting this fire primarily from the air. Is that right?
Absolutely. The air resources are critical in this. We actually just saw a helicopter headed to that massive plume a few moments ago, and it is really difficult for the men and women on the ground because they are getting so close to the fire that they have to back away when it gets out of control.
Oh, terrifying experience, but we know that those firefighters have the support of everyone who is in that area, that region affected by this fire. Andrea, thank you.
Look at this amazing video giving us another perspective on the firefight. The Modular Airborne Firefighting System crew working the rim fire has released this aerial point of view of drops they've been doing over the fire. Now, this is video shot a few days ago on Monday, but the video is just being made public. You can see the huge plume of smoke as they try and attack this thing from the air. So let's check on the weather conditions right now near the fire scene.
Dave Bender's keeping an eye on all the changing wind conditions and fire conditions. Dave?
Yeah, winds are really the big factor. They're gusting between 20 to 25, and it's a very canyon-like area there, so you know that those winds most likely will even be more accelerated as a result of the Venturi effects in the canyon. So right now we got temperatures in the low to mid 80s. It's dry. Humidity 21%. Winds sustained 10, gusting to 21. And you know they're stronger than that. And these fires can create, for the most part, their own winds. Take a look at this in the computer as well. We'll go back to that, but you can see the video right here. This is just some of the imagery that we're seeing there. A lot of the flames that are occurring are just so tall and so massive, and they'll create rising columns of hot air, thus creating firenadoes, thus creating isolated areas of almost their own weather patterns. And this is pretty typical for a fire of this size. And with the tinder dry conditions, it doesn't take much for one of those ponderosa pines to go boom, almost become a Roman candle, and then instantaneously be out because it has burned up all the dry fuels in that particular tree. And then it hops from one tree to the next, to the next, to the next, all courtesy of those southwest winds gusting to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. So back to the computer we go. What I wanted to show you, we had those pictures earlier that Tony had just shown us of the big smoke plume. That is not rain on the radar. That is the smoke plume showing up on the radar right there from the rim fire. And you can see how it's moving off to the north and northeast. That, of course, courtesy of those southerly and southwesterly winds that are blowing erratically right there around the rim fire.